Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with game number 1 between Sen and Strelok. Sen from Team Gamma Bears, the cutest name in the world, and Strelok from Team Imba FXL. We're going to be heading over to NASL Crevasse.
Indeed, we are. Quite a nice macro map. You have an in-base expansion on this map. More like 3/4 of an expansion. Does have 6 mineral patches, 1 rich Vespene geyser, as opposed to 2 normal ones. So very often in this type of situation, we see these players like to go for an earlier expansion, and they like to take that rich Vespene geyser first, since it can get you a little bit more efficiency for the 3 workers that you have in there.
Oh yeah, baby. A lot of the times we have a lot of prepared builds on this map because of something unique, taking such an accessible rich Vespene geyser. I'm interested to see what these players do. I would expect a fast expansion, particularly coming out from Strelok, maybe even something crazy like a 14-15 command center.
Wait, are you saying 14 or 15, or are you saying double command center on 14 and not on 15?
No, 14 or 15.
I was going to say, there's crazy, and then there's like completely insane. If you went 14 command center, 15 command center, then you just might be the ballsiest Terran of all time. That would be pretty phenomenal.
Not just ballsy, kind of silly.
Well, you know what? You could. I'm actually thinking about it now. It might be cute if you put them at both at your ramp, you know, and then it would create a full wall off. Zerg wouldn't be able to get into your base, and you'd have 2 orbitals, man. And 3 orbitals total.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I actually don't think...
It's probably terrible, but...
yeah, it probably is, because I think it's to the point, well, we don't see a 14 or 15 command center, but it's to the point where if you do that, you will be risking quite a bit. On top of that, I think just getting double orbital command centers at that point is going to give you a lot more minerals than getting such a fast 3rd command center, and then having to hard counter the eventual ground, of course, with multiple barracks. I just don't think it's correct.
Yeah,
either way, that's just theory crafting.
Like kidding around anyways. Yeah. Nobody does that build. I've never seen it before. But Sen's going to go ahead and take the lower ground expansion first, so he's not going to take the in-base expansion. It's a little bit easier to defend that in-base expansion, but if you take the lower ground, of course, you do have the 8 mineral patches and 2 Vespene geysers, and once you've got that defended, of course, it's just as defended as your in-base one, so then you can go take that as your 3rd pretty darn easily. So not necessarily a bad move here. Interestingly enough, it does look like we're going to be seeing a Reaper expand from Strelok, and I think this is a pretty good move on a map like this, especially when you know your opponent's probably going to go for an earlier expansion. You can get some harassment, get some good scouting. The only problem is that the main is a little bit difficult to get into. There's only that 1 ramp actually leading in. There's a lot of empty space on this map that can block things like Reapers from being excessively effective.
Now, one thing, Sen, before this match started, he actually asked me, Greytorp, is there 6 mineral patches, or is it the regular mineral patches on this expansion? And I told him 6. So he said, okay. And now we do see, because of that, he's taking the bottom expansion. Now, this not only gives you the double gas, which is a little bit greater than getting that 1 Vespene geyser over here, the rich one, but it does give you that extra income. The problem with it is, as you said before, look at how much space this Reaper has a lot of capacity to do a lot of damage. Yeah,
it's going to come forward now. There is 1 drone at the natural, 2 Zergings. He looks like he's going to go straight past there, even though he sees the creep, knows the expansion, so he's just going to go straight into the main. The SCV as well to get that scouting information. Looks like the SCV plus the Reaper are going to make it a lot more difficult for Sen to deal with this Reaper, as of course the SCV can tank damage from the Zergings, while the Reaper does so much damage. Biggest weakness of the Reaper is its fragility, so if you can keep an SCV in front, can actually increase its effectiveness. Wow, nice move. Baits the Queen out onto where it doesn't have creep, and then moves into the drones where the creep is not going to be out of range, and then just goes up the cliff, escapes. Really nice micro so far by Strelok, but really nice micro from Sen as well, because he has still not lost a single drone.
Yeah, and it would be really bad if he actually lost any drones. I don't think you should be, especially against this type of Reaper play. And with the Queens being there, the Queens just represent so much defense. But for now, you know, Sen can't actually place any creep tumors. That's the one big problem. It's a big risk to place any creep tumors. So we might have some follow-up. What is the follow-up? It's going to be a factory going down, and we might possibly be seeing it switch out with this reactor, but most likely not. Actually, look at that.
Yep. third command center, man. Pretty awesome move here by Strelok, but nice scouting by Sen. He sees it with that Overlord, so he knows exactly what's going on. He knows that Strelok went for that double expansion. Actually, did he see the one on the upper ground? Let me double check that. Yeah, no, he actually has not.
He didn't, but he saw the SEVs running over.
All right, good point. So he should know that Strelok is going for a double expansion, and if he wants, he might be able to punish this with some type of two-base hyper aggression.
Yeah, what is Sen going to do? That's the big question. Because really, Strelok doesn't even have to push out with his third orbital command center. He can just keep powering off of this, get that additional mule. Let's go ahead and look at the income tab. 42 harvesters to 25, so a big disparity there. But the mule, look at that. It will be able to catch him up, especially with that third one coming up pretty soon.
Look at this Reaper just going back and forth. Finally gets taken out by Sen, but actually did kill off a couple Zerglings just by going back and forth, up and down that cliff. Third orbital's already done, so Strelok is able to triple mule right now. Pretty insane the amount of income he's going to have available to him. He's starting to get that third gas as well, so of that rich Vespene Geyser. Looks like Sen just going to poke up with those Zerglings. He's going to see that tank from Strelok, so that's a nice amount of information to have, so you know that his opponent is going for those tanks. He's not using that factory and tech lab to go for Blue Flame Hellions, so that's going to let him know that he's pretty safe against that type of play, but also has to worry about the quick Marine tank push we could have coming out pretty soon, since Strelok did rush out those tanks so fast in this game.
Yeah, what the big question is also, what is Sen going to do from here in terms of how he progresses through the game? He can go mutas. I think that's probably the most standard thing to do on this map, but still, where does he go for that fourth base? Where does he go for the additional gas? Because he is stuck on just this 5.5 gas. I would consider this 5.5, but all of these extractors will mine up like all together, because this one extractor is a rich one. It does mine out much faster, so you get to be on 4 gas much sooner. I'm kind of worried for Sen how he actually progresses through, because we're going to see a very tough 3-base timing from Strelok.
Yeah, he's actually moving out. It looks like he's just actually going to take a defensive position for now to take that third base. Sen, meanwhile, he is going for the Spire. As you said, those mutas. I feel like if you go for the Spire on this map, you have a lot of control over the map, watching for drops, things like that. So, I mean, you're saying, where can he take his fourth? Well, if he just goes and takes that one to the top left of his third, you can pretty naturally progress from there. And it could be a little bit difficult to defend, but if you have those mutas, you can defend against drops. As long as you hold map control and hold those Zennaga towers, which Sen is doing a great job of holding all 4 of, then he should be fine. He just has to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard by some big timing from Strelok.
Yeah, right now, though, Strelok, his build is pretty much showcased. Sen should know exactly what his opponent is doing. And Strelok, look at that, throwing down some preemptive turrets. But only those 2 all the way over on the right-hand side, now finally putting them down at the natural and probably the main. No, nothing at the main just yet.
He did get an awesome scan, so he saw that Spire. That's why he's doing that. He saw it right as it was hatching. So 4 turrets going up at the in-base natural for Strelok right now. And he has a couple over at his third 4 there, it looks like, behind the mineral line. So wants to be completely safe, and this is going to be really annoying for Sen, because he's going to send in these mutas and realize there's not really any aggression he'll be able to put on to these bases of Strelok. He's going to be completely safe. Of course, he did have to invest quite a lot of money, though, in that many turrets. So that could put Strelok a little behind, since the 4th is already on the way for Sen. But, you know, it's possible he'll just move forward with some huge Marine tank push, and that type of an attack could be very difficult for Sen to deal with if he doesn't get out quite a few banelings with that baneling speed in time.
Well, baneling speed is coming out right now, and actually there's a huge drone pump coming out, and Sen, let's go ahead and look at the income. 80 drones already. We're only 11 minutes in, so Sen is taking a huge economic advantage in this game. Strelok, on the other hand, he's sitting at only 62 harvesters, but who has the higher income, Orb?
Strelok, man, he's got those mules, of course.
Yeah.
Mules are so good, and they really ignore the max saturation, since of course a mule can mine over an SCV. So on equal number of bases, you're always going to have that higher income, assuming the Terran has enough workers. Looks like these mules are going to try to maybe snipe off a tank. They do get, no, not quite. They don't quite kill off the tank. They get 1 tank. There's the second one going down. They might go for 3rd, but no. He actually lost a couple mutas in there, though, since he was right over the top of a bunker and some Marines came in. So it's tough to say if that was actually worth it for Sen. Might have been a little bit of a too risky of a move, but all he really has to do is keep putting on that pressure and keep that tank count low. It's more valuable for him to take out those tanks than it is to you know, losing those mutas, because he has his 4th base up and running with double gas, so he can easily reproduce those mutas, and all he really wants to do is just prevent Strelok from ever pushing out until basically he's ready for it.
Yeah, and all Sen should be really working on is getting that creep out there. And then, of course, maxing up to that limit, the 200 limit. He is getting a lot of Zerglings, a lot of mutas as well. Looks like he's starting the muta count again. He's up to that additional 4th base, so he will be at 7.5 gas. That is looking really good. If you can get one more expansion, which there you go, he's getting it right now in the top left-hand corner main. This is becoming harder and harder for Strelok to deal with. He's going to have one push, and that's going to be it, because after that, I feel like that end game, he doesn't have a good plan on where to push. He doesn't want to push across map. That's like the worst possible thing. Cross position is way too far, and of course the creep spread is going to be probably in favor of Sen.
Absolutely, he has an amazing amount of creep around. He does have +1 melee with +1 carapace on the way. Strelok, meanwhile, has 2-1 upgrades on his Marine, so could be a little bit difficult for Sen to deal with, but look at the food, 190 to 153 right now. The problem is Strelok has not been putting on any aggression pretty much all game long. He went for that really macro-oriented build, didn't get any early starport, so his medevacs were so late he wasn't able to do any drops. So Sen has just been able to freely macro up to being maxed pretty much all game long, and you never want to let a Zerg do that. So Strelok could be in a lot of trouble right now. It's essentially going to come down to this engagement. If Sen's going to get a good flank, if he's going to send all of his units in one angle and lose them, he's going to have to make sure he's very careful with this and not just throw away his army, because this type of a push from a Terran can just kill you if you engage poorly. And
look at that, actually takes out both the medevacs. Now, one thing I like about Strelok is that he did a delayed medevac type of style. We can see not even a reactor on this one starport, and it really shows you he's concentrating on particularly this push. He put all of his gas into upgrades and siege tanks and to get those Marines as buff as possible, and I like this type of style. Now he's just going to slowly start to engage on all these creep tumors, making sure the creep recedes as fast as possible.
Yeah, he desperately does not want to start sieging up tanks on creep and face the wrath of so many banelings from Sen, so he's going to be forced to slowly but surely move his units back, but hold that thought, there is a counterattack with these mutas. Strelok going to lose his 4th here. Those look like that would be killed off. Unfortunately, didn't have any SCVs to repair or any units in place to defend. So Strelok very hard pressed right now with his 4th now gone. He basically has to win the game with this push, or it's going to be over due to the fact that Sen already has 5 bases of his own. Going to be 5 base versus 3 base. Now he's starting to move these tanks forward. Unfortunately, one does get taken out by a spine crawler there, so a little bit of a misstep by Strelok, but he still has a very nice position with these tanks in the ramp.
Looks like this big counterattack is coming in. Sen is just going to forfeit a lot of these units. It looks like the Banelings were able to get some good fires and now cleaning up everything. The mutas are just running amok. And what does Strelok have to do with this? He's actually just going to go directly in for the push. There's a lot of Zergling Banelings here.
The problem is, look at that wall of tanks. Oh no, he's going to go for the engagement, but the Marines are all behind the tanks. They're in a giant wall. The Banelings explode on everything and actually kill almost the entire army of Strelok. He didn't kite with those Marines. He didn't pull them back at all. No micro. So a lot of those Banelings did go off in the Thor, but he actually did manage to take out a lot of that Marine count. And now here come the mutas. There aren't enough Marines to deal with them, so they're actually picking off everything.
Yeah, the muta count is thinning out a little bit. He does want to directly engage with this, but Strelok realizes, oh crap, I need to back up. I cannot continue doing this attack because there's another round of units coming out, and I like the fact that Sen actually just gave up his expansion. Look at that, 79 harvesters still. He didn't make that many drones afterwards. He just gave it up and said, okay, I still have a higher economy because I killed 2 of your bases here. Then the additional engagement goes on right now, and there's just nothing for Strelok.
Yeah, the Banelings are coming in. There are so many Banelings, but not even any Marines to go on, so they're just being used up, of course, on the Thor and tanks. And Strelok has lost his entire army. He's trying to re-macro back at his main. Only 2 tanks and a gaggle of Marines, though. 150 food to 75. Here comes for the engagement. The Banelings coming in. The tanks siege up a little bit too late, though. Banelings are going to connect with some of these Marines. It looks like there are enough Marines to hold this off just for another couple of moments. But look how many bases Sen has. He's unbelievably ahead in this game right now. It's 81 harvesters to 36. 152 food to 64. That's almost 3 times the food of Strelok. It is not looking good for Strelok.
This is exactly how you play Zerg versus Terran. When you're at this high capacity drones, 81 drones is a lot. A lot of times we see only Zergs going up to 60, maybe pushing 70, but Sen really likes the 80 drone count. Now again pushing in here, and this is a lot of Banelings. I don't know how he's going to clear these. The Marines are just getting trampled, and the mutas, of course, taking out every single one of these medevacs. Strelok knows it, GG's, and Sen is going to take game number 1. And Sen's going to win game number 1. You know what really spoke to me? His style. A lot of players, a lot of weaker players would have just said, okay, you're pushing on me right now. I need to do something. Attack. But what Sen did, he said, yeah, I'll attack, but not where you think I'm going to. I'm actually going to counterattack you. Starve you completely. Take out both of your bases. He went down to from 4 base to 2 base, or Strelok went down from 4 base to 2 base, and Sen just said, okay, take my natural, go ahead. My creep's still going to be there, but I'm forcing you to make a move. It's either you come back or you attack straight in. He had to attack straight in and just went, whoom, and killed all of his units with Zerglings and Banelings.
That's an absolutely fantastic point. You know, the creep spread makes such a big difference in those engagements.
Yeah.
So basically what happened there was if Sen hadn't gone for the counterattack, hadn't picked off the 4th or 3rd, Strelok could have taken as much time as he wanted, could have gone very slowly forward, taken out all creep before ever sieging up on creep, and he would have been in a great position. The problem was, since he knew his timing was so reduced by having lost his 4th and 3rd base there, he essentially had to win with that push or the game was over, and he was forced into that timing where he had to move forward onto creep. Once he was on creep there, it allowed Sen to come forward with that engagement, and he had so many units he was actually able to bust him. I thought Sen might not have been in quite as good of a position there since he didn't set up any flank, but unfortunately Strelok didn't have the scan, he didn't have any vision, so it was actually, it took a while before the Banelings were actually in vision range of those tanks, so a couple missed shots that could have gone off there, and he actually didn't micro his Marines. He had a whole bunch of Marines behind the line of tanks, which would have been great, you know, to have the tanks absorb the Banelings while your Marines ran back. But he forgot to micro the Marines. I don't know if he was microing back at his main base, but the Marines stayed there, and they just blew up to Banelings, man. So.
But one thing I do want to mention, Sen, when you do this high drone style, you never want to be going up against the Terran straight away. You want to be using your mobility and your income. And attacking straight into your opponent is the exact opposite of using your income. You're just going to lose your force because you know they have more supply into their army than you do. So you're going into something terrible. You want to use your income, starve your opponent, and then utilize that extra, you know, 1,000, 2,000, and then knowing that you can still apply pressure after the dust is settled. We saw the recharge for Sen just be so much better than his opponent Strelok, and Sen was obviously able to take the game very nicely. So we're going to go into game number 2 and see if Strelok can bounce back into this or if Sen can take him out 2-0. Join us. We'll be back after this break.